Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. I'm in Norwich, Connecticut on West Town Street right now. And let me go straight. I'm just going to drive around. I think I'll head over to the west side and cover some of that of Norwich, Connecticut. I'm trying an experiment. So if you're watching this video on YouTube now, the experiment was successful. I have the camera mounted on the car at a different angle, skewing slightly to the right hand side, mounted on the right side of the car, the front of the car. So you should be able to see Riddy's Tire Service, which we just drove by a little bit better, but you won't be able to see Friendly's, which is on my left, I don't think. So that's the experiment as to where I've done this before, but this is a different. I'm trying to push the envelope a little bit on the angle. I mean, it's a super wide lens, so you might not notice that much of a difference. That's one thing in my favor. And another thing I got to be really careful of, I checked, but it's kind of hard on the small screen, is I don't want to be recording any of the hood. I don't want the hood of the car to crop in on the bottom where you would actually see the hood in the whole video. I want to avoid that. So let's see what happens as I drive down West Town Street. But I'm going to head over to the west side of Norwich. Drive a little bit. I'm not going to. I have comprehensive coverage of the west side right now, but as part of this kind of experimental, like the Johnson home to my right, for example, you should be able to see that sign quite clearly. These wide lenses are very forgiving and optically sometimes tricky to get a perfect balance. I mean, on this type of video. I mean, for photography and things like that, I use wide angle all the time. I enjoy it. But for, this is a very unusual kind of video that I'm making right now. My driving videos are, it's not something you see every day. Let's put it that way. So again, these wide angles, it's tough for me. I can't get real-time feedback except for a tiny screen that I can glance over outside through my windshield. It's just not, I can't really see a lot. Now, I have it leveled off perfectly, but the roads are not all perfectly level. They're, the car could be slightly angled a little bit like it is right now. So, but if I'm on dead flat surface, like the road up ahead here, that was Town Street back there, so I'll be heading, if I can make this green light, which I don't think I will. All right, so, but I don't know, this right now isn't perfectly level, but eventually I'll get to Washington Street and I think it'll be perfectly level as I head over to the west side. But again, these wide angle lenses are forgiving yet tricky for this type of footage that I'm shooting right now. If I nail it, then I have it made. If I miss, if I swing and I miss, then it's this video will never see the light of day. By the way, today's another day where we got headlines all over the country telling people about the smoke from Canada coming down and, enveloping a lot of the Midwest, New England, various parts of the United States. Wildfires that are out of control up there. Apparently there's some in California as well that I would imagine in the future, depending on the weather patterns, could make their way over to New England. It's happened before. But Canada's not that far compared to, certain parts of Canada where the wildfires are not that far as compared to California. So you can see the haze. I mean, it should be a blue sky up there right now. It's not. It's like passing through a soft, smoky filter. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll go straight. I'm just working my way over to the west side. But if this camera angle is working the way I want it to, you'll be able to get a good view of that church, Lee Memorial Church to my right, back there, and different homes on Washington Street, more skewed towards the right. I mean, if this is, visually, making people queasy, or if I angle this camera too much, I'm going to have big problems. I tried doing a more severe angle, and that footage never saw the light of day because it was unwatchable. It was ridiculous. It was just things, fleeting by as I drove down the street. It was, you had to take Dramamine before you watched the video. It's just not, palatable for the average viewer. But I'm shooting this thing in 4K. I think if my calculations are correct, I'll find out when I get home. If all my measurements and everything are accurate, you'll be able to get a better view of things to the right as I look out the vehicle to my right in real time. That's the objective. Again, I've done similar videos before, a couple, but I'm, again, pushing the envelope. This is that Dr. Cassidy house right there on the right. See, now that's one of the benefits of having the camera angled. So, Christ Episcopal Church to the right there. They're closed. They closed a few years ago. But Dr. Cassidy's house back there, I believe it is it's either up for auction or some form of, they're looking for developers, something about that magnificent house. I saw pictures recently posted that were, really out of this world stuff. Just dramatic woodwork and staircases, cabinetry, custom, one-of-a-kind stuff. I'm on West Side Boulevard right now. Let's see, the Norwich Fire Department to the right, so you should be able to get a better look at that than normal. And there's the First Baptist Church, established in 1800, that church back there. That white, beautiful church. So now I am on West Main Street. Let me drive around the west side a little bit. Some more of this footage. I got a red light, but man, I'm trying to turn left. There's a lot of cars. I don't necessarily have to turn left here. I'd like to, but I don't want to get another red light. So I'm going to go straight and take another road, because they all lead to the certain neighborhoods and things that I'll be able to cover. But man, that sky, it should be, like I said, it should be blue. It's not blue. All right, let's see if I can slip up Osgood Street. I don't know, man. Awful lot of traffic today. On a Tuesday at 2:25 p.m. I'm going to go straight. Otherwise, if I get caught in that light, I'll have to wait. There's no arrow on that light back there. So I could be sitting there for a long time. So I got a light up here. It'll put me on Dunham Street. And that makes more sense. Because I want to kind of keep moving for my experimental video. Gas prices, Sunoco and Shell, right across the street from each other. It's $3.12. Wow. I don't have an arrow here at the moment. I'm gonna have to wait. I'm not gonna. If I'm gonna miss out on the west side unless I just wait this thing out. Hopefully it doesn't turn red. Not the end of the world. This thing is pointing directly at the former Colonial car wash that burned down a week or two ago in a spectacular, raging fire. You can see the black smoke up there, hopefully. All right, let's see if I can get out of here. All right, we did it. So this puts me on Dunham Street on the west side. I'm going to drive around a little bit. Some of the neighborhoods. Let me take a drive up to, let's see, Elizabeth Street Extension. The city had a grant, or I don't know where the money came from, but they redid all the houses up here. New roofs, new siding, new windows, new sidewalks, interior, top to bottom. Huge upgrade. And I believe they're 100% done. The road here is brand new. I mean, everything is like top of the line, incredible stuff. This is Elizabeth Street Extension. This is a dead end, but I can turn around. This is Westwood Park. I don't know. I think Westwood Park could be... It says Norwich Housing Authority up there. The Thomas Dorsey Building. This could be... I don't know. Senior housing or so. I am not 100% sure, but all of this has been redone. So it's really nice. I mean, these are always in good shape. The brick buildings, a lot of them. And I got to turn around here. But yeah, I mean, it looks massive upgrade. Smoke-free facility. Thank you for not smoking. Wow. So if you live here, you can't smoke indoors or out. I like that. New balcony up there. Just everything is new. So if you lived here and you put up with all the construction and everything, you got to be real happy right about now. So that's Westwood Park. I'll get what I can get. I'll drive around. It's a double... This video has double meaning. Experimentation going along with... Okay, this is Oakwood Knoll up here. An experimentation video coupled with actual gathering of footage on the west side of Norwich, Connecticut. So I'm at the Oakwood Knoll area, let's put it that way. And Oakwood Knoll is also smoke-free. I mean, it must be hard to enforce smoke-free indoors. Okay, there's somebody blocking. I'm going to turn around here. But anyways, should give us... All right, now he's not blocking. Okay. Still going to be tight slipping through here between this big garbage can and that truck, but that's all right. But anyways, there's a decent look. Okay, some of those haven't been upgraded, or this is, some of these do not have new siding on them. It's new-ish, but the other ones are absolute, brand new. And I believe if I take a right here, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Uncas Elementary School. The word school is slightly obscured with overgrown shrubbery. We'll get a quick glimpse at Uncas Elementary School. That's the front. Home of the Wolves. Okay. Another animal mascot. The wolves. Let's see, if I turn right, that puts me on Pembroke Avenue. And these are all brand spanking. I mean, the homes are older. They were built, I don't know, 40s, 50s maybe. But they've been redone within the last year, top to bottom. Complete. Some of them are single family, some of them are, most of them are duplex. And they're rentals, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're owned by the city of Norwich, I believe. Now there appears to be some, what is that? Uncas, Elizabeth Street. I'm not going to venture up there, but in front of me there might be some new units, apartments. So we're going down Elizabeth Street Extension right now. I'll go right straight up Elizabeth Street all the way. Cross Dunham Street. I did a video the other day. I drove to Middletown. It was over 2 hours. It was 2 hours and 7 minutes. I think it's the longest single take video I've ever done. No edits, just one take. All right, let me see if I can get in here. This is St. Peter and Paul's Church parking lot. Some people will definitely be interested in this. So this is angled where you can see, I hope, the camera. You can see the rectory right in front of you, I believe. See, I'm looking straight ahead. It's parking lot, but to the right slightly is the rectory. Different religious statues and things of that nature. Okay, there's St. Peter and Paul's Church. We're approaching St. Peter and Paul's Church. Very, very slowly. The manger. All right, so you should have a good visual right now of St. Peter and Paul's Church. Actually, this smoke might be benefiting my filming. I'm not having to put up with too many harsh shadows. So yeah, this is oddly, I'm going to go through that again. I'm just going to turn around. But this oddly could be, it is beneficial to my recording video. So now I get a speed bump. I have, this thing's pointing kind of at the Stations of the Cross entrance right there. It's kind of overgrown a little bit. I have a comprehensive video of St. Peter and Paul's Church where I walk around the grounds and I talk about all the aspects of the St. Peter Stations of the Cross, for example, the baseball fields. Made some pretty cool discoveries walking around. There's a little pond down there. There's an old basketball court all unused, but definitely worth checking out if you're from the area and you ever hung out at the baseball fields or played baseball down there. So we're back on Elizabeth Street. And we're going to be approaching the former Elizabeth Street School. Now it's an apartment complex. Whipple Avenue to my right. So let's see here. Maybe I'll drive right up if I can get by there. Yeah. With the camera angled, hopefully I can get through this thing. Anyways, that's the former Elizabeth Street School right there. I'm going to drive through here. I don't think I've ever driven up here before. Just on this little particular section of road that goes right up to the former school. And there's Benjamin Street to my right. I'm still on Elizabeth Street. I'm just trying to think. This is a nice little park. There used to be a building that burned to the ground. What was that? St. Peter and Paul's used to have catechism. If you go way back, I think it might have been a school that, I don't know. It was right on the right-hand side. Somebody, if you know the answer, let me know. I'd be curious. All right, let me get out Kilmer Avenue. A lot of really nice houses around here. Older homes. Like the one on the right there. I always love that house. Right there. It should be directly in front of you. If my camera, theory is correct. And there's St. Peter and Paul, Elizabeth Street School. Wow, this house is for sale. The house I really like is for sale. Berkshire Hathaway. There is, let me see here, the back of St. Peter. I keep confusing St. Peter and Paul's with Elizabeth Street School because they're right across the street from each other. I'm just going to turn slightly to try to get the back. Kids played back here. A lot of people went to that school. As I drive through the parking lot. And again, it's now apartments. They're beautiful apartments, well maintained. And that building is rock solid. It's not going anywhere. Okay, this is Scott Street. I'm going to head back. I don't want to get caught in the... Let me go up Whipple. I'll get back on Elizabeth Street. So this is Whipple Avenue. That was Scott Street. This is Whipple Avenue. More really cool houses up here. And straight ahead, St. Peter and Paul's. I don't know. Let me angle this thing. Let me angle this car so you can get a... I'm going way out on a limb here. Right there. Gave you a decent shot of St. Peter and Paul Church. Now we are going by the former Elizabeth Street School once again. So that time I didn't confuse the two. As I cruise around more of these streets. Now, one problem with that building right there you see directly in front, I believe, I was told for years that nuns used to live there, whether it was a convent or I don't know if it was just housing for nuns that, I don't know, way back in the old days. Do not know the answer to that, but anyways, one of the negatives possibly of this camera situation that I have going on here is it does point slightly to the right. So if you want to see your house and you lived on the left, facing, right now I'm facing the camera's facing slightly right. To the left, you probably can't see the houses. So that means I would have to turn around on each street. So you get a better look at the houses on one side of the street. So that is a negative aspect. Everything has pros and cons. That is a con. But these situations are fixable. If I go up here to the church and turn around, and get back on Osgood Street briefly, and then jump back on Peck Street, which is where I was. I just came from Peck Street. Again, really cool houses on Peck Street. A lot of them built probably in the 40s, 30s, 20s, 50s, whatever. They're just not your cookie cutter style houses up here. Everything's different. Everything's unique. As we slowly cruise down Peck Street. But I'm going to go up Mount Pleasant. Very slowly. And capture the houses that you can see. There's 200 Mount Pleasant Street, for example. But yeah, this smoke, when I drive around in this, I mean, even though I'm in a car, I have a tendency, it kind of dries out your eyes. It's just not good to breathe. It's not good to hang out in. Quarry Street. This looks extremely, no, I'm not going up there. It's almost like a one-way street. It doesn't say one way, but it's so narrow that if a car is coming in the opposite direction, I'm not going to make it. All right, what is this? Avery Street. There is a church, Union Baptist Church. So if I go up Avery Street, okay, this is a dead end. Hopefully there's a decent area to turn around, because sometimes there isn't. Private property, keep out. No dumping allowed. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I got to turn around, so. That's a pretty cool house up here. Depending on how much of a stickler these folks are for people crossing over onto private property, which is what I'm apparently doing right now. All right, I made it out of here unscathed. So that's a one-way street. Wow, there's somebody turning up here. Talk about timing. Yeah, there's plenty of room. I kind of want to angle the car to get a look at that church. I think I can do it. I just have to be real careful. Back up a little bit here. All right, so there is, it says, welcome to the Union Baptist Church. Sunday services, 10 a.m. I believe it's 10 a.m. The print is a little smaller. And I got to be careful getting out of here because it's very tight. This could be another one-way street situation I'm on here. But I want to get you a side view of that church. Yeah, this is a dead end. Hey, we're covering territory. So right there, directly in front of you, is that church, the side of the church. And the name of this street, it's not showing up on my GPS, is Champlain Place. All right, what is this? Spring Street. There's a sign to the right that says no tractor trailer trucks. Yeah, I'm not going up there. It's just too much. And there's a dead end straight ahead. It's just too narrow, and it ends shortly, so I'll end up having to back out of there. Just not worth going through all the machinations and the real tricky drive that it is. There are... let me get out and catch these basketball courts. Get this on video. Right to your right, and then I'll pull in here. Park closes at dusk. They have tennis down here as well. I did not know that. So directly in front of us is a tennis court. This is the heart of the West Side. I mean, we're, as far as geographically, it looks like they have a new pavilion. Hopefully you can see that straight ahead. It's got yellow supports holding up a red, I believe it's red roof. My color blindness kicks in, and red is a tricky one. Red, green, brown. It's tough to differentiate between certain colors. But they have playgrounds. There's all kind of cool stuff to do, play up here. And kid looking at my camera on the car, even though it is angled and a little less conspicuous. We're on Mechanic Street. Mopsic Street is to my right. I'm going to go up Ward Street right now. Okay, I am on Ward Street. As I continue with my experimental angle, there's something I have on this car, on this camera below the camera is a ball head. It's a perfectly round metal ball that you can put in any position and then tighten a knob on the side of that to make it dead level. So, wow, brand new road directly in front of us here. So we're on this year new, or very recently new. But anyways, you can level off the camera perfectly. And I got a level, it's a round level, bubble level, that used to go on like a record player. Back in the days when they still use record players, but when they were really, really rocking, everybody was playing records. That's pretty much all that was available. I mean, they had 8 tracks and tape and things, but records. At one time, records were everything. I'm gonna turn around here, as long as I don't see anybody coming in the other direction. Okay. I want to get back up Summit Street. But yeah, I use a level that is a round disc with a bubble in the middle of it to get perfectly level camera mounts for this camera. So we're on Summit Street. The brand spanking new asphalt that has been laid down. It's so recent that there's no lines painted in the road yet. That's how new this is. Bill's Avenue to my right. Very, very heavily wooded little spot right here. A lot of apartments to my left. You're probably not going to be able to see them that well. Maybe you can. I can't guarantee that because this angle on this thing is definitely a new ball game. So yeah, brand new road. They haven't painted in the lines yet for even the stop signs where you would stop. There'd be a white line there. All right, by the way, I'm this area that this is off of West Thames Street. I'm pulling onto Carpenter Street right now. It's off of West Thames Street. I have comprehensive coverage of that neighborhood behind me, Gear Avenue, all that. I have comprehensive coverage of pretty much every area in Norwich, sometimes multiple times over, because I did a lower resolution video. Not poor, it's still HD, but now I'm doing super high definition for future proofing all my videos. Let's see, Carpenter Street gets onto West Street. I'm not sure. Let's see here. I think I will go. I'm trying to remember. I've been down here. I did video. It's been a while. Yeah, this is going to lead to those new apartments, I believe. All right, Glen Court to my left, Woodside Avenue to my right. Woodside Avenue, I don't know, it's kind of intriguing. Nice house in front of us with beautiful gardens, flowers, and really meticulous. Wow, a very cool stone home. That we have to get a look at. All right, that's part of Whipple Avenue. I don't think I might have missed this in my last video. So you see that White House to the right? Now, I'm going to turn this thing. That stone home should be right directly in front of me. That's cool. They have Canada flags up there and nice, different international flags. So this is another part of Whipple Avenue. All right, Scott Street. So let's get back to... Let's see if I missed any of these. Again, this is not a comprehensive, but it's good testing ground, I thought, for my this different angle that I'm using here. I mean, this could be wildly, off the mark here. Whoa, what is this? There seems to be a small street here. There's land for sale on the right-hand side. I don't know if there's a dead end or what is this? This is Quarry Street. Okay, it's very narrow, but this is another one I might have missed. Quarry Street. Wow, somebody's going to be coming in the opposite direction. Got to be super, super cognizant of whether I'm able to make it out of here or not. Let's see what this guy does. Whoa, 2 cars coming out. Hope we can make it. It's so narrow that that gentleman had to pull in. I mean, I don't think it's not a one-way street. I'm going by this Jeep. I'm squeezing through. But anyways, we covered Quarry Street. Let me get my bearings here. So in front of me is... So look at more cool houses. They're everywhere. So, okay, off Quarry onto... Okay, I know where I am. I'm back on Mount Pleasant Street, headed in the opposite direction. There's that place the nuns used to live, I believe, if that's true. A lot of these things you hear, folklore, and it's just straight up not true, some of it. It's kind of warm. It's 86 degrees with that Canadian smoke. That's not a good combination. That forest fire smoke that made the national news. Definitely hampering outdoor activities for today. I am on Elizabeth Street, and when I take a left oddly, I will still be on Elizabeth Street. I don't think I've ever gone right. Okay, let's... This is not a... I don't think this... It might be a dead end. I might have to turn around up here. I may have done it. I just don't remember doing it. Yeah, I gotta turn around. Definitely ends. My tires are getting a good workout today. It's 2:56 p.m. I think I've been driving around the west side for a decent amount of time. This is an experiment, so I think I'll think about heading back and closing up shop. I'm not going to do another 2-hour and 7-minute video like I did the other day. Let's see here. You know, let me work my way back. Let me work my way back this way. So this is Peck Street in the opposite direction. I'm going to drive by St. Peter and Paul's again, St. Peter and Paul, just to get a side view. And you must use great caution, because looking around some of these overgrown shrubs is difficult. All right. All right, so I'm going to sweep by St. Peter and Paul Church right there, directly in front of you with the camera angled. Okay. I went up the length of Elizabeth Street. I'll go down just to get a different angle. Let's see here. So to the right, I don't know if you can get a glimpse. There's a tree there. But anyways, that's the grounds. The church and the rectory should be right in front of you, I hope. And there's some of the parking lot of St. Peter and Paul Church. But again, if you're into that, if you want to see some, I'll try to link it. If I remember, I'll link it at the end of this video. That's one of my favorites. I walking around there was like really, it's real overgrown. The baseball fields and some of the cool discoveries I made down there. That's one of my favorite videos. I mean, I have some favorites. I would say my favorite of the last year, potentially my favorite of all time, it's one of them, is my walk around the grounds of Norwich Hospital. That was exciting. I used to work there, so that was extremely exciting. And everything worked out. I mean, just the weather. It was supposed to, rain was in the forecast. We got a couple of drops, didn't hamper the footage. That was a blast doing that video. All right, let's take a right on West Main. We can look at Sunoco gas station in front of us for a minute. I can go right on red, but the cars are flying down the road. I'm not going to do it. I mean, unless I have an absolutely crystal clear opening. Or a green light. I'll take one or the other. But cars have a tendency to, on West Main, I'm on Dunham right now, I'm going to be going on West Main, absolutely fly down this road at, what I would consider excessive inappropriate speeds, dangerous. Very, very dangerous speeds. As I cruise down. Speed limit on this road is actually 35 miles per hour, so that's something to keep in mind. I don't know if you can see that haze like I can. That's not, you know, cloudy weather. That's smoke. That is smoke from wildfires from Canada. As I work my way back to where I came from. As we soak up the landscape. On the experimental video with the camera angled slightly to the right. Whether you can pick that up or not, I don't know. There's actually a building down here, Marina Towers, that they're in the process of demolishing. So I want to get the camera's angled perfectly for it if I can work my way down here. Wow. It could be all gone. No, that's still there. I mean, let's see, let me estimate here. It's probably a little less than half gone. So we're going to see, I'm going to drive real slow. See that building right there? It's all bashed in and everything, right smack in front of you. They're working on it right now as we speak. As far as demolition, I don't think it's going to take that much longer. I mean, it's August. I heard originally it was supposed to be down completely in July, but, you know, weather, different things hampered some of the work, but they're working full steam right now. I think it's just a matter of days. It's just a matter of days and that thing's out of there. I'm basically driving into the city. I'm heading home, but I'll take a cruise through the city. Nothing radical. I'll go around the roundabout. And then I'm just going to head back to... I started this on West Town Street, and I'll end it there. Kind of near, I think, Shell gas station. And I'll end it at that point. And hopefully, this video sees the light of day. I'm on Chelsea Harbor Drive right now, waiting for a red light to turn green. This one has a tendency to be one of the longer lights. There we go. Get some of the beautiful buildings in Norwich. Blinking red light. Well, that's good for me, but not for some of the other folks. Like that guy in the white there. That's kind of a tricky little spot to get out of when it's blinking red light. Reed and Hughes building to the right. Apartments. That's under construction, or under, I should say, rehab. Work is being done to that. As I hit the roundabout, it's my tradition and my custom to go all the way around this thing completely. And I'm going to keep that tradition alive right now. as I go completely around. The person in front of me is supposed to yield. As curious folks look at my car with a camera on it and definitely have a confused look on their face. All right, there's road work up ahead. I'm not going to play around. We're going to take a left onto Bath Street. And I'm going to head back. More blinking red lights. Interesting. So in theory, I come to a complete stop. I look to my right because there's no traffic coming from the left. And there we go. Be very careful here. People cross the street. This is a very busy area. People pay their taxes in that city hall back there. So I'm on Broadway right now. Okay, the camera's angled slightly to the right, so you're going to be able to see some really impressive houses with columns, Doric and Ionic columns, and other historically significant houses. I mean, that brick building right there is not old, but many, many historically significant homes to the right. Little Plain Park to my left. I have a video on that. St. Pat's Cathedral right in front of you. You should be staring directly at it as I go straight down Broadway. I think I'll sweep by NFA as I head back. So I got to get to Crescent Street. So let me take a right off of Broadway on temporarily onto Broad Street. Now we're going to take a left onto Crescent Street. Interesting, very interesting. I watched a documentary yesterday on PBS. It was about Edwin Land, one of the greatest genius inventors that ever lived. In his house, he as a boy lived right there, that house that you're looking at right now. Edwin Land. As a child, lived there. He went to NFA. One of the great geniuses. He's up there with Thomas Edison. Steve Jobs basically admired him more than anybody, as from what I read. He's up there with the greatest inventors that ever lived in the United States, or probably the world. He invented the Polaroid camera. You'd have to watch the documentary. If you lived through the era of the Polaroid camera where you took a picture, this is before digital, obviously. Anyways, to the right is NFA, Slater Memorial Museum, different buildings. I mean, some of them are going to be tricky. They're kind of obscured by some trees, but whatever. I'm driving down Crescent Street. You can see some NFA. But that Edwin Land, I mean, I highly, highly, highly recommend, especially if you're from this area, but from anywhere. If you're into photography, you have to, even if you're just curious about people, you gotta watch that Edwin Land, Polaroid, inventor of the Polaroid camera documentary. He invented many, many other things, a lot of them extremely important for the government, the war effort, World War II. I mean, things that just game changers. But the Polaroid camera, before digital, before anything, you took photographs. They were usually blurry and just not the greatest, unless you were a professional. But you took, the family photos or whatever. You'd take a few, and then you would bring them to a developer, and you'd get them a week too late, whenever. You get them in the distant future. Sometimes it took a while. Then they had this. Edwin Land had always dreamed of making this camera where you would take a photograph, it would pop out of the camera physically in your hand, you would have the picture, and it would take 2 minutes or whatever short time frame, and you would have the picture in your hand, show people right there, sitting in the room, birthday party. Here, look, you're blowing out the candles. Just like kind of a cell phone we do now, we show the cell phone. This is an actual tangible paper photograph. Beautiful pictures. Instant. Okay. I believe the first, he had a camera, the SX70 was a famous one, Polaroid SX70. That was the super portable camera, but it went through many iterations, but it was all the rage. This guy invented something that everybody went completely wild over. It swept the nation. Everybody knew what it was. This guy was on TV. It was all of that. Edwin Land. He was a genius. That camera revolutionized photography. Eventually, we got into film cameras where you could take your camera to 1 hour photo places. So instead of having the camera in your hand and instantly, or a minute or two, you would bring it to a 1 hour photo. You go back in an hour, you get your picture. So not that bad. So things started to morph over to those a little bit. We're now on Washington Street as we head back. But for its time, for its era, the people that lived through the Polaroid heyday, it just absolutely rocked this country. And everybody had one. Every family had one. Washington Street is going to blend into... I am now on Town Street. We're heading back to where I started. So we'll go full circle. Goodyear Tire to my right. But again, don't miss the Edwin Land documentary. It's an hour, I think. Maybe less than an hour. One of the great icons in the world of photography, among other extremely important things that he did. He didn't care about money. He had plenty of money, but he was not a money person. He was not, oh wow, I'm coming up with a great invention. This is something that I think his company was treading water because of all the investments they were putting into that camera. He had a massive company with just enormous facilities. So yeah, it was worth a fortune. He was worth a fortune, but it's not something he did not dwell on the money. Norwich Town Green to the right. I'm going to take a left here and you'll see the First Congregational Church right there with his angled camera. But Edwin Land didn't care that much about money. He cared about the product, and it took decades for him, but he did it. He pulled it off. The first one, after a while, the pictures, you would have beautiful pictures, but they would, maybe in 6 months to a year, they would start to fade. So they came up with a temporary solution for that, where you would put some kind of a liquid, whatever. It took a while for him to master the image that would be a perfect image out of the camera that wouldn't fade. It would last from, if you took it in 1950 something, or actually maybe the 60s. I think that one of the portable, the real consumer camera, SX70, I think it was the model. When that came out and everybody had those photographs, if you took a picture, say in 1968, and you had it now, 2025, it would look the same, no fading. Unless somebody left it in the sun, but if it was cared for properly, no fading. They basically had the holy grail of instant pictures done. And he worked with a woman very closely. She died young, I think 46 years old, of cancer. And it's a story you gotta see. That lost potential of that woman dying at such a young age. you gotta see it. So we're coming up to the end of the video very soon here, because this is just about where we started, somewhere around here. So that's the end of the video.